Well, hello everyone. I am Mark Despotakis, and we have a very special guest for you today. And she's not joining us on stage, but she is joining us by video from Rhode Island. We'll explain why that is here in just a minute. But we want to take a minute to explain who she is and why she's here before you hear from her directly. So joining me here is Elizabeth Beisel. She is a three-time Olympian, two-time Olympic medalist, and the captain, one of the captains of the 2016 Olympic team. Elizabeth, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark, and everybody.
It's so wonderful to have you here with us. Uh, you know, Insanely talented in the pool. So if you don't know who she is, Google her. You can find out so much about her. Look up her social media accounts. Not only is she a great swimmer, she is a fantastic photographer, but there's something else that's really cool about her that we'll say is kind of a hidden talent for a lot of her life, and that is music. So we kind of know the thumbnail sketch of who you are based on what I've just told you, but what is the music part that we don't know? Can you give us the sketch of your life as it relates to music?
Yeah, so music was actually my first love. I learned how to play violin when I was 3 years old and the piano when I was five. And it was basically stemmed from me going to a birthday party and seeing a violinist there and being like, Mom and Dad, I want a violin for Christmas. And I got it. And so I really fell in love with music at an early age. And I just kept doing that throughout my entire elementary school, middle school, and high school life, and continue to do it now as a 26-year-old. But I took private lessons for violin and piano. I was in the Rhode Island Philharmonic, Ocean State Youth Orchestra. I was very involved within the music community. Took a bunch of music theory classes in high school, was in the high school orchestra. So violin was a huge but well-kept secret part of my life, just because swimming was always one step ahead of it. You know, I went to the Olympics as a 15-year-old, so that's what people knew me as, the Olympic swimmer. And violin and piano sort of took a back seat to that for a little bit. But now, me being done competing swimming, I'm able to tap back into that musical mindset and that musical lifestyle that I had growing up and really appreciate it for what it is, because the music can last forever, but swimming can't. So I'm very grateful for my swimming career, but I'm grateful that music will be with me forever.
And I love that you've kept it up in that time frame. It was something that maybe you weren't playing every day, but we talked last year, and people can go on YouTube and take a look at that video. We talked last year a bit about how you even played a couple times at the Olympics, and it was still a part of your life and part of what you did, but it wasn't your main focus.
Right, absolutely. And when you are training for something that heavy like the Olympics, it has to be your priority. Um, but it's been, like I said, it's just been so great to step back from swimming and step up to music again, because it gives me a joy that swimming couldn't give me, and that it's filled that void finally, and it's great to be back.
So just a few months ago, you actually combined your worlds yet again. USA Swimming puts on what they call, I think it's such a great name for an award show, the Golden Goggles. It's the kind of the big gala fundraiser award show, and so this year it was Swimmers Got Talent, right? That was the theme.
Yes, that was the theme of it. Yep.
So you played on the violin along with Katie Ledecky. So some of you may have heard of Katie, arguably what, the greatest female swimmer in the world? Would you say? Fair?
I would agree with that. Yep.
So as she played the piano and sang, so you were back up on stage in front of your peers, and let's take a quick look at that. Okay, so totally cool. What was that like?
It was incredible. So I'll tell the quick story behind how we got onto stage together. So Katie and I, back in 2016, we always have an Olympic camp before the actual Olympics, and we were staying in this beautiful Ritz-Carlton that had a grand piano in one of the rooms that we had. And we just started playing along with it, and one of the team managers rented me a violin, and Katie and I every single night would just do duets for the team. Like we were like the entertainers of the Olympic team. And so Katie and I really bonded over our musical talents and our love for music. And so once Golden Goggles came around this past fall, USA Swimming had emailed Katie and I, and they were like, hey, we would love to have a Swimmers Got Talent theme. Would you two be open to doing, an act? And Katie emailed back and she was like, only if I'm doing it with Beisel. And so we then basically were in touch, and I was like, Katie, you pick the song. I will play violin to it. And I'll tell you, when we were backstage before we were about to go on stage, we were both holding out our hands like this. And we were more nervous than we were for like an Olympic final. Because, it's different playing in front of just an intimate setting of your teammates. But we were actually, there was a lot of people that watched this award show. There's a lot of people at the award show itself. And so we're like, oh my God, like, what if we mess up? Like, this is so embarrassing. People know this song. And so it was really nerve-wracking, but it was such a cool moment. And it's a memory that I'll have for the rest of my life because it was me and Katie getting out of our swimmer shells. It was showing us a different side of who we are, and not many people get to see that. So to share that moment with her was really amazing.
And actually, just a week before that, you were right here in Pittsburgh on stage with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra playing as well. So you're really getting back into playing.
I am, and I love it. And I'm still a little rusty, but I'm practicing. I need to practice my performance skills because I'm still dealing with the nerves a lot. It was just like swimming. The more you do it, the better you get at it. But I'm loving being back on this side of life and enjoying the music part.
I think that's a message, in a sense, for all of the teachers out here that they can tell their students that here's someone who has been at the Olympics on the blocks, jumping in the pool, that yet still can get nervous about performing. And I've seen you perform, and there's nothing that you should be nervous about because you're fantastic at it. Your personality comes through when you're on the stage there as well. So, but that is certainly a good message for teachers to deliver to students as well. So, all right, you are going to be here in person. With us. Unfortunately, you can't be, but we can't really say what it is, but fair enough to say that it's something pretty big?
It's pretty big. Unfortunately, I cannot say what it is, but you guys will all know in a couple months. I will be overseas for almost 2 months doing something really fun. Yeah, and you'll hear about it once it's over.
And we will make sure that we let all of you know about it before it's available for all of you to see, but we'll keep that secret for now. So you've been gracious enough to record a message for all the educators here in the room today, and we're going to see that here in a minute. But before that, last year when we did an interview together, I kind of challenged you I wanted you to get back into playing more, and we've certainly seen that you have done that and are doing that. So I just want to confirm that we can maybe re-up that challenge for another year, that you're going to get back into playing even more than you already are.
Absolutely.
Great.
And I'll learn a new instrument with that.
Okay.
I've been playing violin and piano a ton because that's what I know. But I got a guitar for Christmas, and I've been picking around on that. It's a little difficult because I'm a 4-string type of girl, and now there's 6 strings. I'm like, the scales aren't the same. But I'm really loving it because it's something that I can sing along to. I don't have the best voice, but I'm really enjoying that. So I'm learning. So I'm totally with you on that bet. I will definitely play more.
And I will again direct you to the video from last year because you're being a little bit modest here. We have a clip in last year's video of you with Allison Smith, known as Schmitty, and you're playing the guitar and singing, so you're not that much of a novice on the guitar, but I will certainly take you up on that bet, and we will check back with you in a year to see how that's going. So again, thank you so much for doing this and being part of this conference and being one of our newest advocates, and thanks for joining us electronically.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody in the crowd for everything that you do for the music world. I wouldn't be here today without you guys, so it really means a lot for everything that you do for the kids.
Absolutely. Elizabeth, thank you very much. And we are now going to go ahead and take a look at Elizabeth's message that she recorded to kind of inspire all of you as you head back into your classrooms.
Hi guys, as Mark said, my name is Elizabeth Beisel. I first of all want to thank Mark for getting me back into the music world. I took a little bit of a hiatus because of my swimming career, but I am most definitely back and will be starting to play more violin and piano and picking up a little bit of guitar here and there. But I want to thank all of you for letting me speak to you right now and for giving me your time. And hopefully I can give you a little bit of insight as to what the music world meant to me growing up and the impact that you people are having on young children's lives, just like my music teachers had on mine. So I've been playing violin and piano since I was 3 and 5 years old. It was an integral part of my childhood and the way that I grew up. Swimming was also obviously a huge part of my life, and that eventually took the front seat ahead of music for a little bit there. But I want to make an analogy today, and bear with me here. I'll get to the point. But so I went to 3 Olympics, and the last Olympics that I competed in was in the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. And that was the Olympics that the media sort of tagged me as the gold medal favorite in my event. And I show up to the Olympics, and not only do I fail to get a gold medal, I fail to get a medal. I get 5th in my event, and I was very disappointed. I was hurt. I felt like my hard work hadn't paid off, but I was also a team captain of that Olympic team. And so I basically had 2 choices. I had a choice to wallow in my misery and cry myself to sleep every night because I felt bad for myself and my performance, or I could rise to the occasion and be the leader that my team elected me to be and needed me to be. And so ultimately I chose the latter. And one of the things that I learned there was that a leader doesn't have to be the best at what they do. I was not the best on that swim team that year. I did not win a medal. And when it comes to the United States, if you're not coming home with a medal, what did you truly contribute to the Olympic team? And so for me, I faced that question and I asked myself, what will I contribute to this Olympic team? Because I'm not the best, but I'm a leader and I have to do something to rise to that occasion. And so for me, being a leader on that trip was what saved me. It is what gave me purpose in life. And so it was me helping somebody before their race. It was me making sure somebody wasn't nervous and making sure they got what they need in order to be the best athlete possible at the Olympic Games. And it basically came down to me being a good person and me doing something for others, being a servant to others. And I think that is what every single person in this room listening right now does already. You may not know it, but you do it. And I make this analogy when I go back to my early years of playing violin and piano and having all my music teachers, whether it was private lessons or at orchestra in school. You all made such a huge impact on me because it's similar in my situation to swimming, where maybe some of you in this room never had your shot to play with the Boston Pops or perform at Carnegie Hall. But by you being a music teacher and giving these kids your knowledge, you might be providing those kids with that opportunity. And just because you didn't have that opportunity yourself and because you weren't on that level yourself doesn't mean that you're any less great of a teacher. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things in life is that you do not have to be the best at what you do to make an impact on somebody. You don't have to be Isak Perlman, performing at Carnegie Hall in order to be a great teacher. You could be somebody like me, Elizabeth Beisel. I have enough violin knowledge to hopefully provide lessons for somebody one day. But as long as you have that bigger picture, and I want to emphasize that not every program is going to be equal. Not every ensemble is going to be of the same caliber. And just because you're teaching at an inner city school and you're competing against people that are teaching at a private school where their kids have been taking lessons since they were 3 years old and couldn't even speak, that does not make the inner city school teacher any less relevant than the private school teacher, because both of you are making an impact on a life. And that is something that you will be able to carry with you throughout the rest of your lives. And I think that's one of the most important things that you all can take away from this 5-6 minute talk that I'm giving you, is that I was not the best at what I did. Yes, I made it to the Olympics, and yes, that's you could consider that being the best, but in the grand scheme of things, I was not the best on that team that year. But I still had to show that I was worth something and I could make an impact on somebody else. And that is exactly what every single one of you are doing here, no matter what school system you teach in. And I want to thank you all personally for giving the children that chance, because whether it's them pursuing a violin career or whatever instrument that they play a career in, they want to go to Juilliard, whatever, or it's just these kids trying to stay on track at school, trying to do something better for themselves. And it doesn't matter which route they take. What matters is that you are making an impact on their life, and you are making them a leader and a better person by doing that. And so hopefully you guys can feel good about yourselves and what you're doing for the community, because in a day and age like this, we need more good people like you. We need more music in this world. We need more things that bring us together, and music and sports are two things that will always bring people together. And I think I've been so lucky and so fortunate enough to do both of them, and now be more involved within the music world, thanks to Mark again. But those two things, I believe, truly bring people together. And you guys have done that within your classrooms, within your orchestras, within your ensembles, whatever it is. And you are all leaders in your own rights. And it doesn't matter what credentials you have, because you are making an impact on children. And those children are going to bring that throughout their lives, and they are going to make an impact to the next generation. And so I want to thank you all again. Hopefully I will be able to be here next year. But I all hope you have a great rest of your conference and a wonderful evening. And again, I thank you guys for your time. Bye.